And West Ham arrive here in the Midlands.
So we're getting closer to kick-off here at Villa Park. Just a last-minute team change for West Ham United. Number 25, Jean-Claude Todibo, is now not starting. Freddie Potts, number 32, is now starting. And replacing him on the bench is number 49, Finley Herrick. So that is a last-minute West Ham change. 32 in for 25 to the West Ham starting lineup. So today is Aston Villa Foundation Day today, and Ollie Phelps, who is the brilliant ambassador for the Aston Villa Foundation, been doing some guest presenting down here today. How much have you loved being on the touchline here at Villa Park?
This has been awesome seeing all the players that close in, their warm-ups in. Can't wait for Villa win this afternoon.
And you're here post-game, don't you? Season ticket holder, proper claret and blue.
Oh yeah, all the way, all the way.
And what's the score prediction today? Because every time we go to fan chat before games, we always ask for a score prediction, so come on.
3-1 Villa.
I'll take that. Big score.
3-1 Villa, I reckon.
Freddie Potts is
Check it, results of the game today. That will be something. Ollie, thank you so much for taking time out. Thank you for being down here on the next line. I think you're doing brilliant work with the foundation. You've got a famous here.
We do, yeah. Thanks very much.
Do you think he'll stick with the same formation, or should and put Wan-Bissaka in as the? Talk to me.
He'll either do Wan-Bissaka.
He'll either do Wan-Bissaka in there, but he'll probably just have Potts in there, mate. I think Potts will play right centre back.
It's got to be Wan-Bissaka, isn't it, surely? Good afternoon. In fact, there is some breaking team news. The team news has changed since the team was announced. Jean-Claire Todibo has dropped out of the starting lineup and Potts is replacing him. So we're trying to get our heads around exactly what that'll mean in terms of the formation. If it stays as it was for the Manchester City game, that will be Hermansen in goal. Wan-Bissaka potentially slotting back into defence is in the back three alongside Mavropanos and Disasi. Then come Potts, Souček, Fernandes and Diouf, with Jared Bowen and Pablo just behind Tati Castellanos up front. As for Villa, they've made 5 changes from their Thursday game, but only 3 from their last league game. In come Cash, Torres and Sancho, but Bogard, Mings and Buendia.
Huge chance, as you've pointed out. You know, Aston Villa have lost against Manchester United, Chelsea and Wolves. I think West Ham have got half a chance today. Villa were involved in Europe as well on Thursday, which makes it a little bit difficult. Squad rotation, making 5 changes. I think West Ham, if they start the game brightly on the front foot and really press Villa high up the pitch, hopefully can nick that first goal. It's a massive, massive game for West Ham today and a great opportunity. Mind you, not as big as Spurs Forest. down.
Creating me some noise. Please welcome West Ham United and Aston.
Absolutely, and maybe a corner turned for the manager Tudor, and let's hope Spurs can get a positive result against Forest. It'll be a tough game, Phil. They all are this time of year. It's not about performances, it's about sticking that ball in the onion bag and getting one more than the opposition and getting those valuable 3 points. Let's hope Spurs can do it today, and let's hope West Ham can get a result here at Villa Park.
Yes, good afternoon and welcome from the West Midlands. This is BBC Radio London Sport. It is a huge day at the wrong end of the Premier League. West Ham arrive here at Aston Villa inside the drop zone, with just 1 point behind Nottingham Forest and 2 behind Spurs, who play each other at the same time, which means a win guarantees they would move out of the bottom 3. They're still without Somerville. The side was unchanged, but there has been a change since the team news was announced. Jean-Claire Todibo has dropped out, and that means that Freddie Potts will come in for him. If the formation stays the same as it was against Manchester City, that would mean Hermanson in goal, Wan-Bissaka potentially replacing Todibo in the back 3 alongside Mavropanos, Disasi, and with Potts playing in midfield alongside Souček, Fernandes and Diouf, with Jared Bowen and Pablo just behind Tati Castellanos up front. As far as Villa are concerned, 5 changes from Thursday, but only 3 from their last league game. In come Cash, Torres and Sancho dropping out, Bogard, Mings and Buendia. They're a 4-2-3-1. Martinez in goal. In defence it's Cash, Conte, Torres and Digne. The holders are Barkley and Onana. Then come McGinn, Rogers and Sancho, with Ollie Watkins leading the line up front. Alongside me, our experts summarise the former Middlesbrough Doncaster and Aston Villa midfielder Lee Turnbull. Lee, the stakes are unbelievably high right across the Premier League today.
This is the business end of the season, Ross. This is where it's all about results. Performances go out the window slightly, and you can have as much possession in the world and you can create opportunities and have a really high XG. You know what? If it goes in and you get a 1 goal and you nick a win, that is the most important thing. Get those 3 points. And West Ham have got a huge opportunity. Villa have lost their last 3 Premier League games. They've been a little bit shaky at home, albeit I'll caveat that they did win 2-0 on Thursday night against Lille in Europe. It'll be a difficult game, of course, but it is an opportunity for West Ham to get those valuable 3 points today.
How disruptive is that change with Todibo dropping out and Potts coming in? And do you see maybe a slightly different way that they could line up?
It's not ideal, is it? It's not ideal, that is for sure. You know, at the last minute, Todibo, obviously something happened in the warm-up and Freddie Potts goes in there. But Freddie Potts has been around West Ham all of his life. He's known to score. So whether Freddie plays in midfield, which I think he probably will do, Wan-Bissaka will slide into that back 3. I don't think it'll disrupt things too much.
Yeah, it's a mild day here in the Midlands. West Ham are in their cream away kit. Aston Villa in their claret and blue. West Ham are going to be shooting from left to right in the first half. The away fans here in good number on the far side. And Hermanson booms that forward up towards Souček and Pablo. Onana gets a touch to it. And it's picked off by Villa in midfield. There is John McGinn. Combines with Watkins. As Lee mentioned, they've been out of sorts a little bit in terms of their recent Premier League form, but they're still flying high in the Champions League positions. Here's Matty Cash down the right side for Villa. Back towards Onana. And now Torres. But given the disruptions, Lee, how important is it they have a steady start here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the messages from Nuno and the coaching staff will be very much try and keep the crowd quiet, try and get some meaningful possession in the opening 10 minutes of the game, preferably in Villa's half. And if Villa do have possession, then maybe just sit into a low block and allow them to have the ball in defensive units, but not be breaking the lines too often.
Villa played the ball up towards Watkins, former Brentford man, of course. West Ham win it back quickly by Mavropanos, who seems to have won round a lot of the Hammers faithful in terms of his performances. Juff gets ahead to a ball on the far side. 0-0. 2 minutes played here on BBC Radio London Total Sport, on DAB and online. The Tottenham versus Nottingham Forest game available on our FM frequency as well. West Ham go long up towards Bowen, who's unable to control that ball. That's going all the way through towards Martinez. But you've had a chance to look at the formation now, Lee.
Yeah, it just looks as though it's a back four with Wan-Bissaka playing in his accustomed right back position. Juve slotting in at left back. Freddie Potts going in and anchoring in a DCM role in midfield.
Torres clips on down the line. Nuno has used a 4 plenty of times of late. And they have been pretty solid with it as well. Mavropanos slides it forward for Thomas Souček. Now Bowen, who is in that England squad. Big boost for him. As is Konsa, who gets the ball forward for Villa up towards halfway in Onana. The floodlights have been on for a while. Not entirely sure why at this time of the day.
Not the way that energy prices are going up as well, Ross.
Konsa goes out towards Matty Cash on the far side. Former Forest player, of course. Poland international.
Yeah, I played with his dad, Stuart, at Chesterfield. There's a little point of note. Yeah, excellent player, Matty Cash. They've got some really outstanding footballers, haven't they, Aston Villa? The likes of John McGinn, Ross Bartley, who's in possession now. Threats at the top end of the pitch, obviously, through Morgan Rogers, Ollie Watkins. A real quality squad.
There's Cash again. Diagonal ball is hit into the mid-drift of Ross Barkley. It's won back by West Ham. Here's Bowen, temporarily on this near touchline in the right back position. Goes all the way back towards Hermansen. Plays out short to Disasi, who is coming back to a former club. Had a loan spell here, had 10 appearances on loan from Chelsea. Potts lofts one forward on the left for Juff. Right, a challenge. Here come West Ham into the penalty area. Juff cuts it back and it's smuggled out nervously, but when he gets in those wide positions, he is a real handful. He
is indeed. You know, he's really athletic, runs really hard and fast on that left-hand side, and almost an opportunity there for the Hammers early on in this game through the left-back Juve. Good work.
Remains 0-0. Potts is back on halfway. Of course, given his family connections, he's very popular with the West Ham support.
Yeah, he's certainly a hammer, isn't he, Freddie Potts, without a doubt. And he's doing well because he's playing in that DCM role, but dropping between the centre halves to start play off. Obviously, he's a reliable passer of the ball, and at the moment, Aston Villa aren't pressing him. He's dropping from that deeper midfield position to dictate play.
Fernandez, who scored in 29 seconds in the reverse fixture at the London Stadium, finds Mavropanos, and now back towards Souček on halfway. Castellanos, the Argentine, who didn't make the Argentina squad. Now Disasi.
Yeah, they've got some good options, Argentina, let's just say, haven't they?
Yeah, it's no shame not making that squad for the world champions.
Yeah, they'll be one of the favourites, won't they, as well, going into the World Cup in the summer in the US and Mexico.
Just come back to West Ham's form, Lee. They really have picked up of late. What have you noticed that's been different?
I think it's consistency, and consistency with your team selection and consistency with performance. Although they only had 28% possession against Manchester City, you're playing against a really elite team there, you know, one of the best in Europe, and managed to get a draw out of the game, which was a brilliant result in hindsight. The win against Brentford and the win against Fulham, local derbies, will have given them a lot of heart.
Here come Villa. Sancho, right side of the penalty area, cuts it back across the face of goal, and Mavropanos on the stretch puts it behind for a corner.
Brilliant from Mavropanos there, realising the danger, but those are the warning signs early on from Villa. Attacking on that right hand side with pace and power. It was Matty Cash going beyond and sliding it across. It looked as though Ollie Watkins was just going to tap it in. Mavropanos, a big long right leg, poked it away for a corner kick.
Cash spots it down on this near side into the north stand, which is going to be redeveloped here at Villa Park as part of the grand expansion plans. Crowded 6-yard box, Villa corner. Cash teases it in. There's a bit of a scramble. It's going to come back towards Jadon Sancho, who saw his shot blocked off the legs of Fernandez out for a throw-in.
Yeah, good delivery there from Matty Cash. Won it. West Ham Aston Villa loading the box, and West Ham doing well to clear the danger, but clearly threats off set plays. Matty Cash will go across now and take this. This will be a long throw. Again, they'll be loading it into the West Ham box.
Cash assesses his options and puts his backside on the ads hoarding, which is a bit of a giveaway where this will come. Cash for Villa with a throw from the far side in towards the near post. Heads go up, and there's a clearance by Castellanos. It drops for Digne. The Frenchman goes for goal, and Hermansen had to get his gloves to it, put it behind. It was an audacious effort from Luca Digne.
Yeah, excellent.
Not too far away.
Excellent strike there, left-footed from Luca Digne. He smashes it in towards goal, and it was a big hand there from Hermansen. Again, another corner kick to Aston Villa. Aston Villa putting the pressure on West Ham early on in this game.
Earlier today in the Premier League, Sunderland winning late away at Newcastle 2-1 in that time-weird derby.
They'll have enjoyed that.
Villa corner. Cash towards the far post and right off the line by Mavropanos. Bit of a scramble inside the 6-yard box, and Bowen gets it out. I mean, that corner nearly sailed all the way in.
Yeah, all at sea, aren't they, off the two set plays that Villa have had. The right-footed corner kick from Matty Cash twice, causing problems for West Ham, and again it was Mavropanos there getting a really firm first contact on the ball. If I'm West Ham and I'm Nuno and I'm looking at it at the moment, I'm saying, listen lads, I know it's difficult, but try not to give away set pieces and corners early on in this game, because Aston Villa, really big, strong, powerful team, and with that delivery from Cash, it's going to create havoc.
Digne concedes a throw on this near side. Set pieces have become so important in the Premier League of late. They always have been important, but there's been a bit of criticism that maybe the Premier League has become a bit special teams NFL in the way that it's...
And you know what, Ross, it always probably has been, but it has been highlighted a lot more, particularly with Arsenal and their set piece. I mean, the set piece coaches now in the game, which back in the day never used to happen. So we have specialised coaches now for long throws, for free kicks, and in particular corner kicks, and it is the best opportunity to score a goal. You look at the stats from set plays, that is when you have the most advantage over the opposition to actually score a goal. But West Ham have conceded two very early corner kicks, and we can see already the threat that Villa pose.
Castellanos goes to ground. The referee today, Paul Tierney, the man who got caught in the Chelsea huddle.
He did, yeah, that was funny, wasn't it? And everyone used to accuse Paul Tierney, is he a Man United fan, is he a Man City fan? I think he supports Altrincham.
Yeah, the VAR today, Stuart Atwell, 0-0 inside the 10 minute here on BBC Radio London Total Sport. Potts finds Souček out towards Fernandez for West Ham on the far side. That's his ankle tapped, and that's a clear free kick.
It is, and a chance for West Ham just to, settle the game down a little bit. We're in the very early throes of this game, 10 minutes in already. A long throw, a couple of corner kicks that have tested West Ham defensively. Offensively, we've only really seen Juve attacking down the left-hand side and putting the ball in that was cleared. But just take the sting out of the game a little bit.
Castellanos has made a long run, but the ball's a little bit ahead of him. Puts his thumb up in appreciation, the former Lazio player. Pau Torres brings it forward, his 100th start for Villa. Clip ball down the line for Digne. Jared Bowen's back there defending diligently again. He hooks it away with his right boot. And a scorpion flick down the line from Fernandez, but it's picked off by Villa, and they have it at the back with Concert. But the home side has started strongly.
Yeah, they have. Here we go. Yeah, good ball through there. I think it was Onana picking up the ball, and again it was an out to win run, I think, from Rodgers, nearly getting on the end of that one for Aston Villa. But here come West Ham.
Juff picks it up on the far side, back towards Potts, who goes square for Fernandes.
That's the threat that Villa have, though, particularly when they have the ball deep towards the halfway line. They have willing runners, Morgan Rodgers and Ollie Watkins in particular, at the top end of the pitch. And if the likes of Ross Barkley and Onana are allowed time on the ball, they will pick a path for these guys.
Disasi out to the far side for Juff once more. Now back towards Potts inside the centre circle for West Ham.
Yeah, good ball retention there from Freddie Potts. You know, he needs to get on the ball and dictate play. As I've mentioned, Aston Villa are not really a high pressing side. They often like to defend deep at home and rely on the counter-attack to expose the opposition. So I think West Ham will probably have more of the ball than what they're probably used to, particularly away from home.
Mavropanos, a dinked ball is easily headed away at the back by Digne. Potts slides in unfairly according to the referee. Watkins goes down.
Yeah, he's a little bit unfortunate. I think he's just trying to nick it away from Ollie Watkins and followed through, and the Villa man's gone down. But yeah, I would imagine Nuno and his coaching staff are relatively pleased with the opening 12 minutes of this game, albeit a couple of opportunities off set plays that Aston Villa have had. But you've just got to settle into the game, you know, and especially when, in inverted commas, you're chasing. You know, West Ham at the moment, with their league position, are chasing points. Of course they are, but they'll see this as a real opportunity. Villa playing Thursday night will have done them no favours at all.
Elsewhere, Spurs still 0-0 with Nottingham Forest. Reminder, a win today would guarantee West Ham move out of the bottom three, due to the fact that Forest and Spurs are playing each other. Onana, the Belgian, goes square towards the Spaniard Torres.
Again, it's quite noticeable as well from West Ham. There's not really a high press on there. They are allowing Aston Villa to build from the back.
Here you come. Aston Villa 0, West Ham 0. It's been a difficult start for West Ham, who lost Jean-Claire Todibo. He was named in the starting 11, but Freddie Potts has had to replace him, and they've gone to a back four. Villa have been pressing very hard. They've put in some dangerous set pieces from Matty Cash. Aston Villa 0, West Ham 0. Rodgers gets a free kick left side of the penalty area.
Yeah, dangerous area again. A little bit sloppy there from West Ham. Just stay on your feet. Just stay on your feet. And again, it was I think it was Fernandes helping back there, but just caught the Villa guy, and Rodgers went down, and it's a free kick on an angle, probably about 20 yards out. But this is Matty Cash's territory with that strong right foot. Tends to whip it in towards goal. Be no surprise if he whips this in towards the far post, and then claret and blue shirts of Aston Villa try and get the contact. Defending very zonally, West Ham here. Everyone back for the Hammers. Let's hope they can clear the danger.
Crowded penalty area. Matty Cash for Villa goes short towards Sancho. Teases up for McGinn, who shoots, and it's in. And West Ham trail. One off the training ground for Villa, and it is the Scot John McGinn who's curled it in left-footed. Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0.
It was a wonderful goal, wasn't it, from John McGinn? It was a well-worked free kick from Aston Villa. We all thought Matty Cash was going to whip the ball in towards goal. He never. He decided to link play on the edge of the box, and the ball came to John McGinn on the 18-yard line and confidently struck it home, left-footed, low to the right-hand side of Martinez. 1-0 Aston Villa.
Could West Ham have done better?
You know what, I think it's a really, really good finish from John McGinn. And again, West Ham were defending so deep, they were expecting that ball to come in, but McGinn just allowed the ball to roll onto his foot. I think it was Rodgers that played it across, and it's a wonderful finish from McGinn. Whips it into the bottom right hand corner. Not a lot that the goalkeeper could have done about that.
We're back underway. Villa Park is rocking.
Really good set piece, Ross, there from Aston Villa. Very creative. They'll be delighted.
It's Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0. It's John McGinn with a free kick right off the training ground. West Ham caught cold. They played the free kick square from Cash. McGinn curled it into the bottom corner. Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0.
Yeah, just a chance there from West Ham on the counter-attack. The ball goes down the right-hand side. A bit sloppy play there from Aston Villa. Goes in from Bowen. Just trying to see, was it Pablo who was getting on the end of it? It's a really good chance there for the Hammers. I think it might have been, it could have been Castellanos with a header from 6 yards out. Put it wide. Good opportunity there from the Hammers after conceding that goal from John McGinn.
Real test of character for Nuno's side. It's Villa who pick up the ball again on the edge of their own penalty area with Torres. McGinn, the goal scorer, loses possession. Pablo likewise surrenders the ball. It does come off a Villa player. It's going to go out for a West Ham throw, but they have a solid 5-10 minutes now.
Yeah, West Ham need to really settle into the game now. Going 1 goal down so early, and obviously is a vociferous crowd here at Villa Park as well.
Villa win it back. They're down the right with Ollie Watkins. Players arriving in the middle. Rodgers is one of them. It's played behind him, but it's been kept in play on this near side by Digne. Now Barkley. Barkley goes for a curler for Villa. It's blocked by the legs of Souček. Comes back out towards Cash.
Yeah, I would say when Villa do get the ball in the final third, Ross, West Ham really do need to close down a lot quicker. There's too much time, particularly in wide areas, for Villa players to get the heads up and pick a pass or a cross out.
Rodgers reverses a ball for Watkins, edge of the penalty area. West Ham getting bodies back behind the ball. Rodgers stumbles and allows Souček to emerge with it. Surrendered cheaply again, and I can't afford to keep giving the ball away.
No, you can't. You know, when you get possession, and someone like Souček there should do a lot better by retaining possession and trying to take the sting out the game a little bit. At the moment, it's all Villa.
Here come the villains down the right with Cash. Keeps the ball in play, but Hermansen will gratefully gather. Elsewhere, it remains Spurs 0, Forest 0. Lots of the West Ham supporters I spoke to outside the ground very confident about their recent run of form. 1-1 draw against Man City means it's just 1 league defeat in the last 6, like coming at Liverpool. 2 wins, 3 draws in those 6. Villa have lost their last 3 in the Premier League, but they don't look like a team that are out of form at the moment.
No, they've started really well, haven't they? The opening 18-19 minutes of this game, the goal from John McGinn was fantastic and definitely worth a watch back on TV tonight. But I think at the moment West Ham are caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, whether they try and go a little bit longer and try and turn the Aston Villa rear guard, or try and play through the zones. But the passing quality's been lacking a little bit in that central area. Souček, Potts in particular, as holding midfield players, need to get on the ball and dictate the tempo a little bit better.
Bowen might better get onto that ball down the right hand side. Just trickles out of play for a Villa throw. Unai Emery right on the edge of his technical area, all in black. Former Arsenal boss, of course, who's looking at yet another potential Europa League triumph.
He loves it.
They've got Bologna in the next round after seeing off Lille.
He loves that competition, doesn't he? He's a multiple winner.
Villa 1-0 in front and in possession down the left with Sancho. Lays it out wide for Rodgers. Rodgers. Now Barkley.
This is the point I'm making, Ross, about there's no real pressure on Ross Barkley there.
Sancho into the penalty area for Villa, left side. Clips one towards Onana, who gets his head to it. That could easily have been number 2.
That is far too easy from Barkley to transition the ball out on this left-hand side to Sancho. Sancho gets his head up all the time in the world to clip a right-footed crossing, and Onana should do better. He's 6 yards out, the big Belgium. He should hit the target with that header. West Ham really do need to press and get a grip of this game in midfield. They're allowing Aston Villa time and space to get their heads up and pick a pass. They need to be a lot sharper in their closing down, without a doubt.
Torres out on the far side for Villa. Runs the ball out of play. Going to be a throw into the visitors, right in front of the very healthy travelling support.
Yeah, excellent, isn't it, from East London this afternoon up here in the Midlands. Great support from the Hammers fans.
Villa get it back with Rodgers. Pocket of space finds Watkins. Villa threatening again. Digne, left side of the penalty area with a cut back and smuggled out only as far as Barkley. Bowen again having to play right back.
Yeah, you know, you want Jared Bowen at the other end of the pitch, don't you? But at the moment, and fair play to him, you know, he's helping out the defensive unit with his work rate and his work ethic and desire to get back and help out. You know, Jared's playing right of a front three at the moment in a 4-3-3 system, and he's working so hard defensively for his team.
22 gone here on BBC Radio London Sport. Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0. Castellanos wins a header but directs it straight to Morgan Rodgers. Villa slick and quick in possession. Rodgers down the line for Watkins. Watkins for Villa, half a yard, gets the shot away, and it's all Villa. It's wave after wave.
Yeah, and West Ham are going to pay the penalty for this if they do not close down quicker. I've pointed out 2 or 3 times now. Ollie Watkins there, it's far too easy just for him to chop onto his right foot and whip a shot towards goal. You've got to again understand the strengths and weaknesses of the opposition, and no doubt West Ham have done their analysis, but you know, to show Ollie Watkins just there onto his right hand side where you know he's going to chop and he's going to whip it towards the far post, it's criminal really. West Ham need to be a lot sharper. What
do they need to change tactically to just stem the bleeding a bit?
That's a great question, because obviously the shape has changed. They were set up as a back three, and then when they lost the lad in the warm up, it has changed their shape. They had to. They've made the substitution obviously before the game and inserted Freddie Potts in to the midfield area, so they've gone to a 4-3-3 when they were all set up to play a 3-4-2-1, and I do think at times it does throw you a little bit. Todibo obviously getting injured in the warm-up has thrown West Ham a little bit, because they'll have prepared for this game all week with the setup that they had against Manchester City, and looking at it now, they do look a little bit disjointed. It's as if to say, my role has changed, you know, I'm now playing in this position and I'm not quite comfortable, but 100% they need to get a grip of this game, otherwise if Villa get another one, it could be curtains very early on.
Souček had just come off and needed a bit of treatment, still waiting for the time to elapse before he's allowed back on the pitch. West Ham 1-0 down. Villa pressing down the right side again with Matty Cash. Konsa goes short towards Torres. Villa 4th, 2 points above Liverpool, 4 behind Manchester United. And they look in the mood now. Villa, here's Watkins inside the penalty area. Brilliant save from Hermansen with his legs. Somehow got it out. Barkley on the edge of the penalty area gets tackled, but how big a save was that?
It was a massive save, wasn't it, from Hermansen. And again, Ollie Watkins creating havoc, him and Morgan Rodgers linking up so effectively, and time and space in the box to get his shot off. Hermansen with an excellent serve.
West Ham have the ball at the back with Disasi, who's been a very significant acquisition since coming in. He's not had a bad game really.
Yeah, he's a good player, isn't he, the Frenchman? And West Ham really now are looking to get some possession, as I've suggested before. Freddie Potts dropping between the 2 centre-backs just to start play off, and trying to organise around him with Souček in the middle of the park and Fernandes. But at the moment, the passing lanes are being blocked by Villa. Villa are working hard, moving across the pitch to stop the passing lanes, and it's hard for West Ham to find a way.
Potts right on halfway. Goes out towards Disasi. He's got his gloves on today. I'm not sure it's the weather for that either. Juff's made a run towards the byline. That's too strong, and just need to be a bit more careful in possession.
Yeah, and again, you know, he got himself in a good area there, Disasi, and he's looking for the run of Juff, but just overcooked it a little bit. And it's those technical moments in the game where really you have to be spot on with your passing. You know, there's no excuse. The surface is like a bowling green, isn't it? And to overhit it is criminal, really. West Ham need to get a foothold in the game. They need to get some meaningful possession. They need to get width and get the ball out to the likes of Boyne on this right hand side, but it's all Villa at the moment.
Here come Villa again. Watkins challenged by Mavropanos, still alive. Rodgers shoots, it's blocked, comes back towards McGinn and he puts it behind, but he's pointed to the spot.
Yeah, it's good a penalty.
The referee's brought it back for the earlier challenge. What did you make of that?
Really contentious, and need to have another look at it. Ollie Watkins on the right hand side attacking West Ham's defensive unit. Was it Mavropanos there with a leg, and Watkins is trying to chop back. It ends up with McGinn flashing the ball wide because the referee allowed play to continue. Just looking at it now, Ollie Watkins has got the West Ham player's got the ball surely there. Mavropanos has got the ball. There's a tussle with Watkins, and then Mavropanos with that sliding tackle, right footed, he gets the ball. I think this will be overturned.
We'll wait to see whether or not VAR will agree.
This will be overturned, Ross. He got the ball. Mavropanos has got the ball. He's come in from behind Watkins, which is always, again, dangerous. And when you go to ground, you are always risking not getting the ball and bringing the player down, but he clearly gets the ball. It's a really good tackle from Mavropanos. This 100% will get overturned, surely.
Paul Tierney is over on the far side checking the monitor. I've had a good couple of looks at it. Certainly if I was back in Stockley Park, that would be the decision I would be coming to.
Great tackle. We can't take that out of the game, can we? VAR gets questioned many times, particularly around incidents, around handball. But yeah, that for me is a really good tackle from Mavropanos. Yeah, he's had to come in on the side of Ollie Watkins, but he does get the ball cleanly.
All eyes on the referee.
After review, West Ham 15 clearly played the ball.
Justice is done.
Correct decision. Absolutely correct decision.
VAR comes to West Ham's rescue. It remains Villa 1, West Ham 0.
But again, it was a dangerous counter-attack, wasn't it, from Villa. Ollie Watkins with his pace there, so yeah, still got to be mindful of Villa's threats, and particularly Morgan Rodgers, Ollie Watkins, Jadon Sancho, that pace at the top end of the pitch.
The ball's back with Hermansen, all in orange, booms it forward, headed back by Onana. Now here come West Ham with Castellanos. Pablo's made a run, goalkeeper comes and slides, the World Cup winner, Emi Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez did well there, didn't he? You know, he read the situation. Here we go again, Villa on the counter.
Villa racing forward in numbers. Watkins combines with Rodgers. Watkins forced a little bit wide. Watkins into the penalty area for Villa, twisting and turning, looking for an angle, gets it back towards Rodgers, takes a touch, goes for goal, it's blocked and loops up out to the far side where it's going to be kept in play, I think, by Sancho. In the end he opts to leave it for the corner.
Corner kick, yeah, it was a shot deflected there from Morgan Rodgers, but Ollie Watkins has been an absolute thorn in the Hammers' side in the opening half an hour of this game. His work rate, his movement, his ability on the ball, really good player, and not in the England squad.
West Ham's defence take a deep breath collectively. They'll have to go again now, crowded 6-yard box. Corner on the far side for Villa.
Yeah, this will be whipped in, left-footed, won't it? Luca Digne is going to load it. Yeah, West Ham need to get the first contact on this ball.
Villa corner from the far side. Digne whipped in with pace, and it's been cleared off the line. Unbelievable clearance.
Oh, Mavropanos has done unbelievably well there, hasn't he? Ball was flicked on. I think it was Rodgers in the end, was it, that got the contact on the ball, the volley from 6 yards out. Brilliant from Mavropanos. He has been immense for West Ham, but it just shows you, we're mentioning his name all of the time. He's got some defending to do, the lad. It was Morgan Rodgers.
Wow.
Point blank rage. Mavropanos, go on then.
You just hear
well done.
the fans inside the ground wowing as they saw it on the big screen. Somehow he got it off the line. Terrific defending from Mavropanos.
Yeah, Villa should be out of sight, Ross. They should be out of sight. Half an hour gone. There should be 2 or 3 goals up here. Nuno will be keen to get in, obviously, hopefully on level terms, but he would take 1-0 right now, trust me. He'd be looking at this game and thinking Villa could be 2 or 3 goals up.
Half an hour played. Villa 1, West Ham 0. Elsewhere, Spurs still goalless at home to Forest. 2 of Nuno's former sides.
Yeah, foul on John McGinn there in the middle of the park. Villa so keen to get the ball moving, and they're playing with such pace and tempo at the moment. West Ham really do have to weather the storm here.
See some of the subs warming up down below. I mean, Max Kilman is one of them. Maybe a bit of a surprise that he potentially wasn't brought in as part of the 3 if they're looking to keep the shape.
I'm really surprised at that. Yeah, obviously Nuno's had to make the call with Freddie Potts taking the place of Todibo. But yeah, Kilman would have been the obvious choice for me if he wanted to retain the 3-4-2-1 shape. And as we've pointed out at the moment, West Ham are a 4-3-3.
Onana goes square out towards Cash, right on halfway.
I mean, Jared Bowen's here, he's playing like a right back, isn't he? Look at him. You know, he's put some shift in already, the lad, but want him at the other end of the pitch.
Barkley, former Chelsea player, goes back towards Pau Torres.
Yeah, really evident when West Ham are out of possession now that they're trying to lock on man for man in the middle of the park, because in the opening half an hour Villa have had the freedom of Villa Park. You know, they've had so much time and space to pick a pass and play through the zones and create opportunities in wide areas with willing front runners. West Ham at the moment have just probably decided to go man for man and tough it out.
They're digging deep, but they still trail. They've got defensive work to do again. Digne for Villa cuts it back towards Rodgers. Shot from the edge of the area from Onana is blocked.
Yeah, they flood the box really well, don't they, Aston Villa? When they attack from deep and they create opportunities in wide areas, midfield runners like Onana and John McGinn are all over it. You know, they end up with 4 or 5 shirts in the box, Villa, claret and blue shirts attacking West Ham, and West Ham at the moment just are nowhere near it. They're well off it.
Villa in midfield with McGinn. Finds Watkins, bit of space, he's using his pace as well. Watkins shoots and drags it just wide.
I think it's got deflected again. Yeah, it's Mavropanos. Who else? Saves the day. He's having a great game. However, probably busier than what he would expect at this stage of the game. But he's been immense for West Ham. Again, it was Wally Watkins, isolated 1v1. Shows him bizarrely onto his stronger right foot. Tries to strike the ball through the legs of Mavropanos. Thankfully, it flicks off his calf and goes out for an Aston Villa corner kick.
He has been a man mountain today, Mavropanos.
He's been brilliant. He's led by example, but like I say, he's been overworked.
Yet another Villa corner. West Ham 1-0 down. Cash with a corner for Villa, headed away by Souček to the edge of the penalty area. Castellanos nods it into the path of Fernandes, who tries a little arrogant flick, and that's going to cause problems. Cash with the ball in, that should be Hermanson's, but Fernandes can't be playing like that.
I'll be having strong words at half time for sure, and I'm sure Nuno and his coaching staff. Stop flicking it, retain it, get the ball in and play it to a West Ham shirt instead of just flicking it. He's 25 yards out from goal. He just invites Villa on there. Poor play from Fernandes.
Juff picks it up on the far side for West Ham. Now Fernandes hangs on to possession for now. Goes square towards Mavropanos. Brings Wan-Bissaka into play on this near touchline.
Yeah, credit to Villa as well. They've dropped into a mid-block there, having to make it really difficult for West Ham to play narrow and play through. They need to get it in the wide areas, try and double up and expose the Villa fullbacks.
Potts Edge of the area finds Bowen. Bowen goes for goal. Deflected effort. It's going to go behind for a corner.
Yeah, great ball in there from Freddie Potty. Fizzes it into Jared Bowen. Jared Bowen takes a touch, gets it onto his left peg and fires it from about 20 yards, deflected wide. West Ham corner. And an opportunity now to see what West Ham set plays are all about. It'll be Jared Bowen, won't it, left-footed.
Train of players in creamy white waiting by the penalty spot for West Ham.
Yeah, this will be an in-swinger from Bowen.
Wan-Bissaka's come across as a potential short option. West Ham still trailing by 0-0, but it should be more for Villa. Mavropanos cleared brilliantly off the line from Morgan Rogers, point-blank range. Villa also saw a penalty overturned on VAR. Mavropanos cleanly took the ball off Watkins before following through. Still Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0. The corner comes to nothing, and
no, it was comfortable, wasn't it, for Martinez there. Bowen's corner whipped in, but unfortunately for West Ham, never really tested Aston Villa, and an easy claim for Martinez.
Pablo goes down, gets a free kick right in front of Nuno. He never gives much away in pre-match press conferences.
Yeah, he's a good character, isn't he? I like Nuno. You know, he's had a few jobs now in England and Wolves and Nottingham Forest in particular. In this one, you know, seems a good guy. Don't know him personally, but seems a good guy. And hopefully he can get a tune out of West Ham, because at the moment it's really difficult for them here at Villa Park, trailing 1-0.
I remember interviewing him when he was Wolves boss about the links with Spurs, and it was during the COVID era. Here come West Ham into the penalty area. It's going to be an offside.
He was in and out of Spurs pretty quickly, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was doing the interview on the end of a long fishing pole, and he just ended up walking further and further away from it. 1-0 West Ham trail. More defending to do as Cash brings it forward down the right for Villa. You see some of the subs for the hosts starting to warm up, including Yuri Tielemans, who's back in the squad for the first time in a while.
Yeah, terrific player, isn't he, Tielemans? Really, really good midfield player.
Konsa pirouettes and lays it back towards Martinez. All in yellow, clears left foot. He's not short of confidence.
No, Martinez doing his best Elvis Presley impression there for the older listeners. A shake of the hips.
Yeah, loose hips. Cash right on halfway.
They're comfortable, aren't they, Villa? They're really comfortable at the moment. They're working the ball slowly but surely up the park.
McGinn brings Sancho into play down the right side for Villa. Closed down by Diouf. Villa throw. Cash goes square towards Konsa.
Yeah, no real pressure, is there, you know, when it goes to Konsa, and Konsa's 10 yards inside the West Ham half as well. There's no real intense pressing, and the ball's move too easily across the park, and I know it's difficult. You're away from home, you're playing against a really talented football team. You know, the technical ability of some of the players out there is immense, but at the moment, both technically and tactically, West Ham are second best.
Soucek sends it forward for Pablo. Castellanos trying to time his run. Flag stays down into the penalty area, across the face of goal, and bit of a waste.
Yeah, flag goes up now. So the flag goes up now, even though at the time you're looking at it and I'm thinking it's offside. I'm sure the rest of the near on 40,000 in here are thinking it's offside, but that's another crazy rule, isn't it? The linesman there, you know, he allows the play to go on. West Ham are attacking. It gets all the fans off the seats because Castellanos is going through on goal, albeit he played a really poor pass at the end of the day trying to get Pablo in. But yeah, one of those crazy rules, Ross, isn't it? That certainly needs addressing. Aston Villa tried to take a free kick in the West Ham half, which would have been a really strange offside decision, wouldn't it?
Well, we saw the incident with Forrest and Awoniyi last season where he got seriously injured because of that exact same situation.
Absolutely, you could rip a hamstring stretching for the ball quite easily when it is a clear offside. Needs to be addressed.
5 to go before the break. Villa with the ball on the edge of their own penalty area with their goalkeeper Martinez, who many suggested might be moving on from Villa in the summer, but the move to Old Trafford didn't materialise, which some had suggested was his favourite option.
Yeah, he's a top keeper, isn't he? Really good goalkeeper, and I'm sure at the time he was probably disappointed that the move to Old Trafford didn't materialise, but definitely a fan's favourite here at Villa Park.
Yeah, former Arsenal player that didn't really break through there. Here come Villa over halfway with Barkley. Left-footed ball is clipped out towards Cash.
Too easy again for Ross Barkley there, playing as a pivot just to receive the ball under no pressure and do what he wants with it. I'm sure Nuno, like I say, will want to get the lads in at half time. Hopefully there's no further impact on the score and it stays at 1-0, and perhaps even West Ham might nick one, but to go in at 1-0, Nuno surprisingly will probably be pretty pleased that it is only 1-0.
It remains goalless in the game between Spurs and Forest. That commentary game available on our FM frequencies and also online. Here the atmosphere's got a little bit more subdued. Villa down the right again with Cash. He's such an attacking fullback. Cash combines with Sancho. Quick feet leaves Fernandez on the floor.
Yeah, he has got great attacking intent, hasn't he, Matt Cash? But as a kid, he was a striker and then a winger, so that's where he gets that attacking angle from.
Cash, his cross is cut out. Had that loan earlier in his career at Dagenham and Redbridge.
Yeah, he's far removed from that now. Yeah, West Ham just sitting in and allowing Aston Villa to have the ball in the middle of the park, but they've got so many talented players, it's so dangerous.
Digne from the left for Villa, teases a ball in. Juff confidently chests it back towards Urbanson. If he'd got that wrong, that would have been a penalty.
It would have been indeed, yeah. It was good play there from Juff just to chest the ball back to his goalkeeper, but again, just too much time and space for Digne on this left-hand side to pick out a cross. I'm sure the analysis at half-time will very much need to get a lot tighter to these Aston Villa players, particularly in the mid-third of the pitch.
Disasi receives out on the far side for West Ham, confidently striding forward over halfway, but gives the ball away.
Wow. Speechless. It's an easy pass in it there for Disasi. He just breaks from that left centre-back position. And it's a 5-yard pass, Ross. 5-yard pass into Juve and puts it out of play. Incredible.
Rodgers receives. Strength from him. He's bulldozing his way forward. Morgan Rodgers for Villa. Tries to dance his way to the penalty area, asking for another penalty, but I didn't think there was anything in that.
No, he ran into West Ham traffic there, didn't he, Rodgers? And a combination of 2 or 3 West Ham players, including Wan-Bissaka, managed to clear the ball.
Castellanos was in a different Birmingham postcode, so that was clearly offside.
Ironic cheers there from Aston Villa fans. Linesman put his flag up straight away.
How do you feel that Nuno will assess what he's seen from the side so far? I mean, as you say, they should be out of sight now, Villa.
Yeah, he won't be best pleased, that is for sure, but bizarrely he probably will be pleased it's only 1-0, because Villa should be out of sight. I think he probably needs to change the shape or the personnel or both, but at 1-0 you're always in the game, and it only takes a second, with the quality on the pitch that West Ham have got, even though they haven't shown it too much today. It only takes half a second, doesn't it, for Jared Bowen to whip one in the top bin, so he'll probably be reasonably pleased it's only 1-0.
Sancho for Villa tries a cut back, McGinn was in there lurking by the penalty spot. It's hacked out for a corner.
Yeah, you know, again, Freddie Potts there slashes at the ball, gives a corner kick away. A little bit more calmness. Just scan what's around you. Take a touch and even retain the ball. And I know you're under pressure a little bit, but there was no Villa player there within 10 yards of Freddie Potts, and he slashes it out, and a needless corner kick. And as we've seen from Villa, their delivery on corner kicks has been outstanding.
3 minutes of stoppage time has been added. We're into that now. Unai Emery deep in conversation with his distinctive looking set piece coach, who likes to be the centre of attention from time to time. And they've got a set piece here. Yet another Villa corner. Digne teases it in towards the 6-yard box. It's headed down and over the top. It was Konza who got his head to it. And there's Mavropanos again, who's put in the challenge.
Yeah, body on the line, you know, he's probably reading the script. He's looking at that clock thinking we're into 46 minutes. I'm just going to take a breather here and hopefully the referee will blow the whistle. But again, Digne delivers left-footed, and it's Eric Konsa with a relatively free header 6 yards out, but heads it into the turf and it bounces over the bar, thankfully for West Ham. But get to half-time, regroup, analyse the situation. What can we do better? A lot. And try and get back into this game.
There has been a goal at the game between Tottenham and Forest. It's gone to Forest, barring any VAR intervention. Forest leading away at Spurs.
Oh wow. Now that is game on, isn't it? You look at the division at the moment and the teams that are down there, and it is an absolute dogfight.
There were really big scenes outside of the stadium there. They were urging the supporters all to dress in white as well, just to create a bit more of an atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a terrific atmosphere at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but going a goal down to one of your nearest rivals in a relegation fight is not what the doctor ordered.
Castellanos wins a corner on this near side.
Good. Take your time. I was just going to say, what's he doing? You know, Castellanos there gets the corner kick and he's looking to play it quick into Jared Bowen. Whoa, just slow down, get your big guns up, you know, get some physicality in that box and make sure your delivery's right, and you might just get back level in this game. So it'd be Jared Bowen left-footed.
First half stoppage time. West Ham corner from the near side. Bowen a little bit flat, and that's easily dealt with. Wan-Bissaka tries to get it back. Onana on the slide collides with him. I think that's going to be a throw-in.
Yeah, full-blooded tackle there on Wan-Bissaka from Onana, but again, I'm going to say poor quality from Jared Bowen. It's 2 corner kicks that haven't been overly effective from Jared. Needs to do better in them positions, and set-piece delivery is pivotal at the moment as the referee blows the half-time whistle.
Yeah, so that is it at the break. Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0. Lee Turnbull alongside me. Work to do, but they're not out of it yet.
No, work to do indeed, and I think Nuno and his coaching staff will be relieved that it's only 1-0 at half-time. Obviously there was a penalty claim which was overturned rightly by VAR, but Watkins and Rodgers, Sancho, they're running amok, aren't they, at the top end of the pitch. But for me, it's the middle of the park where West Ham just aren't getting the grips with the game. Ross Barkley, the freedom of Villa Park, John McGinn, time and space, and these players are real quality operators. You give them time and space like West Ham are doing, and they're going to hurt you, and they certainly have done. It was a wonderful goal from John McGinn, worked from a set piece out here on the left hand side where we thought Matty Cash was going to deliver it in, plays it into Sancho slides it across the area to John McGinn, and from 20 yards out he just passes the ball left footed to the goalkeeper's right into the back of the net for 1-0. But they've had opportunities to extend the lead where we haven't really seen too much at the other end. I can remember a Castellanos header, and that was about it. So West Ham will be relieved it's only 1-0 at half-time.
Yeah, so at the break here, Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0. Yeah, plough it on. I'll go as long as you're okay with it. It is an Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0, and the Irons firmly second best. They're lucky not to be further behind in this game. The deadlock was broken from a cute training ground free kick. Cash went square to John McGinn, and the Scot curled it beautifully into the bottom corner from the edge of the D. We saw a VAR review for a penalty. They were initially awarded a penalty, Villa, when a challenge from Mavropanos came in on Ollie Watkins, but after VAR review, Paul Tierney clearly saw that it was taken cleanly, and Mavropanos has been right at the heart of all of the defensive action. He's been man-mountain today so far for West Ham. He cleared one brilliantly off the line after a point-blank effort from Morgan Rogers. It should be much more than this. They're lucky not to be out of sight now. It's Aston Villa 1 at West Ham 0 at the break.
Half-time at Villa Park, and a very special half-time today. We celebrate 30 years since we lifted the League Cup, an incredible day in the history of Aston Villa. Before we have a chat with former players, let's look back at the 24th of March, 1996.
No, and you're right, you know, it is a Brucey bonus, but you want to try and win every game when you're getting towards the business end of the season. Villa played Thursday night, but they look a lot sharper, the quality's better. West Ham have been disappointing, if I'm honest. Nuno have been delighted to get them in at just 1-0. The penalty claim, VAR came in and ruled it out, but I thought that it wasn't a penalty. Mavropanos, who's been superb for West Ham by far, their outstanding performer, great tackle on Ollie Watkins, but just before that they conceded a goal with a wonderful free kick. Ball was played short from Cash to Sancho, rolled across to John McGinn, sticks it in the bottom corner, and you're thinking the floodgate's going to open, Phil. They've only had one real effort on goal, and again Jared Bowen's doing more work defensively than he is offensively. I think because the shape had to change as well because of an injury to Todibo in the warm-up, Freddie Potts has come in and the shape's changed from a 3-4-2-1 to a 4-3-3, and I think that's probably thrown the lads a little bit, because when you're prepping for a game and you're doing all your analysis, it's obviously built on your own formation as well, and looking at how to expose the opposition. So that's thrown the hammers as well, Phil, but if they get a goal back, fantastic, and I would hang on for a draw and defend resiliently to try and take something away from Villa Park. The way it's going at the moment, Aston Villa are comfortable, if I'm honest.
So much, lovely reception. Big Paul is up there, Paul McGrath is up there, make sure you give him a wave too. It's lovely to see everybody, and great to see the team playing well first half tonight.
Absolutely, a cracking performance, brilliant first half. And what memories have you got of the day?
Oh, it's great, we deserved it, we played very well. We were in good form at that time, felt very confident, and on the day we got it done. It was lovely, great to see some of those images there on the screen, and just lovely to still be here to enjoy it.
And great to get the band back together, you and the team together, it must be brilliant.
Listen, it's always great to see these guys. You know, Brian is an absolute Villa legend. It was wonderful playing for him. The boys in that team were committed and together. That's what you need.
Absolutely. And full-time prediction today, what do you reckon, Andy? What's the score going to be today?
I think the boys have played very well there. I can see them scoring again, and I'm sure they'll go on and get all 3 points.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Great time for the boys of 96 for area. Andy, thanks for the chat. The boys going to do a lap of appreciation. Ian Taylor's got the cup. It's like going back in time, what it is. Make some noise for our team from 1996 winners of the League Cup. So once again, make some noise for our team of 1996. Right, Villa Park, and it's time for the second half. Time once again to make some noise and welcome Aston Villa.
Yep, no probs. Yes, welcome back to Villa Park, where the two teams are emerging from the tunnel down below us. West Ham second to emerge, 1-0 they trail for that John McGinn goal. Lee Turnbull alongside me. Lee, it's been a pretty disappointing display, but in terms of the points that are still there to be got, they still can get something today.
Yeah, West Ham have been flat, there's no doubt about it. They conceded a wonderful goal to John McGinn, but they could have been out of sight. They could have been 2 or 3 down in this first half. So I think West Ham are going to make changes at half time as well here at Villa Park. So it'll be interesting to see if Nuno does change the shape, which is probably what I would do. You know, the shape, having lost to Debo and Potts coming in after an injury in the warm-up, they're lined up as a 4-3-3, but I think he might revert back to a 3-4-2-1. And here comes the substitution for West Ham, and it looks as though is it Adama? Yeah, it's Adama coming on, and also Callum Wilson. So 2 attacking players coming on the pitch, Ross.
So Castellanos is one of the players who've been withdrawn. Callum Wilson on for him. And Potts has been the player that's been withdrawn for Traore. So Wilson, a man from the Midlands, who grew up just down the road in Coventry, gets a chance to come on and make his mark here at Villa Park.
Yeah, it looks as though it's an orthodox 4-4-2 for West Ham United. We'll see how the shape develops, but looks like Wilson up front with Pablo, and Adama playing wide left, Jared Bowen playing wide right, Souček in the middle of the park with Fernandez. So they're shaping up as a 4-4-2 at the moment.
West Ham shooting from right to left as we look in their creamy coloured tops. Mavropanos scampers across the edge of the penalty area to clear his lines. What a game he's had so far today, Lee.
Yeah, magnificent defending, and could have been 2 or 3 goals down in this game, West Ham, but they have shown resilience in defending. My concern would be they're giving Aston Villa far too much room in the middle of the park to dictate play.
Ball's going out of play for a Villa throw, taken quickly by Sancho for McGinn. Right side of the penalty area, back towards Sancho. Cash for Villa. Dangerous low ball, it comes back to the edge of the penalty area. Digne tees it up, left-footed, goes for goal. It's well blocked, comes back towards Torres, and the referee's going to stop things there.
Yeah, and again, it's the 2 fullbacks linking play, isn't it? It's Matty Cash on the right-hand side, fizzing the ball across, and it's Luca Digne on the left-hand side who picks it up and has a pop at goal, but West Ham defender's gone down. Looks as though he's took one in the mid-rift.
Elsewhere, Spurs trailing 1-0 in their game against Nottingham Forest. Massive matches,
huge,
at both of the 2:15 kickoffs today.
Absolutely. Yeah, Wan-Bissaka there just taking one and going down after being struck in the mid-rift by Luca Digne. But again, on the front foot, aren't they, Aston Villa? Very opening stages, couple of minutes of this second half. Interesting that West Ham have gone to a 4-4-2, because that leaves you exposed in the middle of the park. 2 West Ham players up against 3 Villa players in there. Be interesting to see how they combat that. I would suggest out of possession that they took both of the wide players, Adama and Jared Bowen, in and try and make it a narrow 4 in midfield, and one of your strikers has to drop in on Ross Barkley or Onana. So it's almost a 4-5-1 out of possession, 4-4-2 in possession.
Uncontested bounce ball, Villa have it. On the far side is Rodgers. Gets a cross in right footed towards the far post. That's going to sail behind. Hammers are winless in the last 7 against Villa. The last victory was here in Birmingham in 2022. Pablo Fornals getting the only goal of the game. But they're a club that have been revitalised under Unai Emery. There was a fantastic tifo display here for the game on Thursday, just marking his 100 wins in charge, and the fact that he's become the fastest manager to reach that milestone.
It's incredible, isn't it? And he is a brilliant manager. A little bit unfortunate at Arsenal, but he's done wonderful here at Aston Villa, and perhaps he could get, as we mentioned before, a European trophy in the cabinet in the boardroom at the end of the season. But a good side. They've got some really good individuals, haven't they, Villa? They look really well balanced. The shape's good. Onana and Barkley sitting in the middle of the park, and then threats at the top end of the pitch. Sancho, Rodgers, Ollie Watkins, John McGinn playing in that 10 role. Very, very good players, and technically very proficient.
West Ham throw on the far side. They've offered very little going forward so far in this game, and needs to change. Sancho going through the gears in midfield, has Cash outside of him, opts to go back infield to Onana. Here's Cash once more, around about halfway. Grey leaden skies overhead now here in the West Midlands.
Yeah, good passage of play from Villa in it, just building purposely through the zones.
Barkley for Villa takes aim and blazes that behind. I think it got a touch off the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Hermansen there just gets a hand on it, and again Ross Barkley, just the freedom. No West Ham player closing him down, just strides forward, shoots from about 25 yards, unopposed, clear sighter on goal. Good save from the goalkeeper. Corner kick, Aston Villa.
Digne gets a warm round of applause from the Holt end.
And even at this stage of the game, in no rush to take it, Ross.
They've had some famous former Villa players out on the pitch at half-time from their League Cup winning side 30 years ago. Andy Townsend among them.
Yeah, they've had some great teams over the years here at Aston Villa, obviously winning the European Cup as well. Peter With scoring that famous goal.
Crowded 6-yard box. Villa with a corner, Digne sends it deep. Mavropanos heads it back out. Cash takes a touch and goes for goal, and not too far away.
No, I'd be a little bit disappointed with that, Matty Cash. It was 25 yards out, again unopposed. The first contact was made by Mavropanos. Who else? West Ham star player on the day up to now. And again, it's almost like a free shot in. You know, Ross Barkley's just had one, which the keeper's had to save and touch over the bar. They keep conceding ground and territory, and Villa players under no pressure 25 yards out. They'll pay the penalty for it, West Ham.
51 played, Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0. Here on BBC Radio London, Total Sport on DAB. The Spurs game available on our FM frequency. Villa win the ball back, send it into midfield for Morgan Rodgers.
Too easy there for McGinn to turn.
Sancho for Villa into the penalty area right side, goes for the near post. That's a poor effort.
Yeah, Jadon Sancho, you'd probably expect him to do a little bit better there, but again McGinn just dropping into the 10 area unopposed, gets on the half turn and manages to play forward. They've left themselves again in a position, West Ham, by playing this system. They are going to be exposed in the middle of the park, but I would suggest that everyone's just got to up the game by at least 25% at the moment.
Yeah, that's conservative, I think. Here's Juff for West Ham, whips in a cross, dangerous delivery, it's headed out for a throw on the near side. That's what you want to see more of, him in those crossing positions.
Yeah, we saw Juve in the first half, didn't we? Attacking and advancing in that left-back position, high up the pitch and getting a ball into the box, and he's just done the same. We've seen it all day long from Aston Villa. Matty Cash on the right-hand side and Luca Digne on the left-hand side. But that was good work there from Juve, getting high up the pitch and whipping a ball in the 6-yard box. Well defended from Villa, but he's a long throw coming in from Mavropanos.
He's one of the players you'd quite like to have in the 6-yard box, but he's going to take this long throw for West Ham. Mavropanos hurls the throw. Wilson gets it back towards Fernandes. Fernandes for West Ham, tees one towards the far post, and it's a covering diving header in the end from Digne. Put it behind. Pablo was lurking.
Yeah, better there. Fernandes whipped the left-footed cross in, and you're right, Pablo was lurking. Well defended from Aston Villa. Corner kick West Ham. Let's hope Jared Bowen's delivery is a little bit better than the couple of attempts that he had on the first half.
West Ham goes short from the corner. Fernandes, his effort was closed down by Sancho. Some half-hearted appeals from West Ham supporters for a penalty.
I think there always is now. If it strikes you anywhere, upper body, I think everyone appeals. But it was such close proximity. Clearly not a penalty kick. But West Ham throwing, and a chance again for Mavropanos to load it into the box.
He's got a Greek flag being waved just behind him for a bit of encouragement. Mavropanos for West Ham hurls in the long throw. Disasi challenges for it. Villa getting it back out. Mavropanos again for West Ham with a cross. Players waiting in the middle. Disasi heads it down and straight at the goalkeeper, but that's better.
It was better, and it's the two centre-halves linking, isn't it? It's Mavropanos on that right-hand side, and he loops the ball in, and Disasi, I must say, it was a great leap, Ross. Gets well above the Aston Villa defender and powers ahead of goalwards. Unfortunately, went straight at the goalkeeper, Martinez.
Barkley closed down by a couple of players. Pablo is one of them.
Yeah, better, more energy at the top end of the pitch. More energy, more determination from West Ham. Good signs.
Here's Cash on the right side for Villa. The East London voices filling the air now in the West Midlands. Torres strides forward down the left side for Villa. Here's Watkins for Villa, takes the shot on, it's blocked, comes back towards Onana.
Yeah, good block from Disasi. Needed it.
Villa with players queuing up in the middle. Digne from the left side of the penalty area. Cuts it back eventually towards Barkley. Runs out of room, and Villa, another wave of the attack coming in from the left, and it's McGinn who's good. It's cross blocked out for the throw.
Good defending there from West Ham, putting bodies on the line. Wan-Bissaka there blocking the cross. There's more urgency about the Hammers. No doubt Nuno at half-time said, hey, listen lads, you're going to have to step this up a little bit. You're going to have to close down a lot quicker, be a little bit more technically proficient when you're in possession, try and keep the ball, try and get the ball into wide areas, and actually challenge Aston Villa, because there's been a lack of a challenge on the Aston Villa rearguard from West Ham in this game. But now the 4-4-2, with two at the top end of the pitch and two wide men on the pitch, let's hope they can actually penetrate Villa and get that elusive equaliser.
Villa raiding down the right with Cash. Back now to John McGinn. Cash on the stretch just about keeps the ball in play. Unai Emery's almost got chalk on his boots at the moment. He's so close to the playing surface.
Yeah, really animated, isn't he, Unai Emery there? He kicks every ball, doesn't he? And he's almost playing right back for Aston Villa at the moment.
Onana lays it back towards Cash again. You'd expect plenty of energy from Villa attacking the whole 10 in the second half.
Yeah, it's always, isn't it, the advantage if you're kicking towards the bulk of your supporters, and certainly the whole end will be trying to suck another one in for Aston Villa. But Nuno will be quite pleased with his start, that his new shape and the substitutions have made, going to a 4-4-2 and obviously bringing Wilson on and Adama on as well. He'll be reasonably pleased that there's a little bit more energy about them.
Morgan Rogers again buzzing around looking for pockets of space. Onana, and then it's robbed at the back by Disasi. What can Wilson do for West Ham? There are players ahead of him in support. Pablo is one of them. Here come the Hammers. Bowen into the penalty area. on that left boot, goes for goal. It's deflected behind off Konsa.
Excellent, really good play there from Callum Wilson, picking up the ball, driving at the Villa defence, and then it flipped to his strike partner Pablo, and I'm thinking he's going to unload. He manages to slide the ball into Bowen, and Bowen chops onto his favoured left foot from that right hand side, gets a deflection, West Ham corner. Better from the Hammers.
Every time Bowen gets the ball, you can just sense the excitement from those travelling irons.
Yeah, and his quality's been off it a little bit, hasn't it, today? But we know what a really good player Jared Bowen is.
He will take the corner from the far side. A couple of players waiting by the penalty spot for West Ham. Bowen floats one towards the far post. Souček gets ahead to it. It's not been cleared by Villa. Souček tries to keep it alive. Juff heads it back into the penalty area. Bowen is flagged offside.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate there. It was a period of head tennis, wasn't it? It was excellent delivery from Jared Bowen. Left foot, whipped it back stick, and it was Souček, got the first contact, and then the ball's bouncing around a little bit. Villa couldn't clear the lines. West Ham are trying to create an opportunity, and unfortunately Jared Bowen was offside.
Remains Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0, but much better from the visitors since the restart. They've brought on a couple of subs, Wilson and Traore on for Castellanos and Potts, and they've gone close with a couple of efforts from set pieces. Aston Villa 1, West Ham 0. Villa into the penalty area. McGinn looking for his second, tees it back towards Onana, side-footed effort over the top.
Yeah, again another opportunity created there. Good work, good feet from John McGinn. Was looking to unload on his favoured left peg, rolled it back to Onana. Thankfully for West Ham, Onana's effort was over the crossbar, but absolutely done miles better in the second half, West Ham. Just a simple shape, isn't it? 4-4-2, that might catch on, you never know. Two wingers, two out-and-out wingers, two strikers working hard at the top end of the pitch, two lads in midfield who are getting about the Aston Villa midfield players, and four defenders actually defending.
Pablo loses possession to McGinn. He's on halfway. Former Hibs man. His granddad was actually the chairman of Celtic Football Club. He's got a strong connection with that particular part of the world.
He has. I think he's mentioned a couple of times, non-discreetly, how much he'd like to play for Celtic. I'm sure it'll happen for John one day. Wonderful player.
Here's Barkley. Of course, he was one of those players that was down in the Championship, along with Jack Grealish, that helped get Aston Villa back into the Premier League.
Yeah, it's been a strange one for Ross Barkley, hasn't it? He was kind of a wonder kid, and then Everton, Chelsea, and went to Luton. But really good footballer, and as we've seen there, that is wonderful midfield play and tracking back from Ross Barkley. Gets the applause of the majority of Villa Park.
Yeah, there's a lung-busting run down the right-hand side from Jared Bowen, but just couldn't squeeze in the cross, and in the end it goes behind for a goal kick. Massive day for London football. Spurs still trailing in their 2:15 kickoff, 1-0 there behind against Nottingham Forest. Of course, got the League Cup final for Arsenal against Manchester City. That's coming up later today.
Could be the first bit of silverware that the Gunners win this season. I'm pretty sure that will win the league title, and maybe, who knows, could do the quadruple. Big ask.
Here, West Ham still trailing by a goal to nil. An hour gone. Here on BBC Radio London Total Sport. Villa content to just keep the ball at the back for now. Konsa. And now Barkley on the thigh. Picked up by Onana. Villa right side of the penalty area with Cash and Sancho, and they combine to put it behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, that's their strength, isn't it, Villa, when they're getting it out into wide areas, particularly Matty Cash on this right-hand side, linking with Jadon Sancho, really effective, and on the other side, obviously, Luca Digne linking with Morgan Rogers. A good shape about Villa, and they've got good players. They're round pegs in round holes. There's nothing complicated from Unai Emery's teams, but they really are effective both in and out of possession. But West Ham have started well in this second half. Nuno will be delighted that it's still at 1-0, and he'll fancy his chances of nicking an equaliser, I'm sure.
Torres chests the ball down at the back for Villa. Square ball finds Cash now. Sancho through the middle. A couple of players slip. Mavropanos on the slide, picks it up. That's good play from him. Now on the half turn, it's Jared Bowen. Maybe needs some support. Wan-Bissaka is outside of him. Bowen will be desperate to catch Thomas Tuchel's eye even further in a World Cup year.
He'll either be going to the World Cup or be working on that caravan park that Danny Dyer's got, won't he? So yeah, let's hope it's the former.
Yeah,
otherwise he could be pulling ice creams at the caravan park.
Highly motivated. Wilson keeps the ball in play, back towards Bowen. Oh, and it just wriggled through. And Villa pick it up on halfway. They seem to be able to go through the centre far too easily. Disasi tidies up, but they play their way through West Ham far too quickly.
Yeah, they're excellent, aren't they? They move the ball 1 and 2 touch, Aston Villa, and when they're on it, they're a top team. But I must say, Disasi's been excellent in this second half. The whole of the West Ham back four, a lot more compact, more competitive, on the front foot, closing things down and restricting Aston Villa. It's a good game now. It's a good game. Villa are sitting back a little bit, and West Ham are right in this game.
Bowen dancing down the right. He wants a corner, and he's going to get it.
Yeah. Well, again, it'll be Bowen left-footed. Hopefully his delivery is as good as the last one, and Villa can get that elusive equaliser. But miles better from West Ham. Miles better.
The Irons captain right in front of the travelling supporters, all of them on their feet. In the lower tier of the Doug Ellis stand on the far side.
It's not an easy place to come, this as well. You know, the crowd can be bouncing and Villa play with energy, but West Ham are doing a lot better in the second half.
West Ham corner, whipped in by Bowen. Is up rather than away by Villa. Bowen tries to retrieve it. He's going to get a throw. Taken quickly. Fernandez chests it back towards Bowen again. Bowen gets half a yard, delivers a cross, chested down by Torres. Hacked out by the Villa backline. Juff lays it out to Traore. He's been on the periphery of this game so far since coming on. Now Traore teases one in, and it's in between a couple of players there, and maybe could have done a bit better.
Yeah, it's not the worst ball in the world, but I think he was expecting the run, particularly from Bowen, who's playing wide right, to try and cut off that far post area. We see it so many times, don't we? Wide men getting in, playing narrow and meeting the ball in the far stick. But first time we've really seen Traore in the game, and the shape is good. It looks a lot better. As I've said, they've simplified things, West Ham. And it's just about that bit of quality at the top end of the pitch to try and get that equaliser.
Triple substitution incoming for Villa. Tielemans, Bailey among two players that are stripped and ready. There's also a third player down there as well. You can't see the back of that shirt. We'll get confirmation of who the third player is in a moment. I think it's Douglas Luiz. It is, who's the third player.
Yeah, it's not bad when you can throw them three on, is it? That's strength in depth for you, certainly. Especially Tielemans, wonderful player.
Luiz back here on loan from Juventus, having previously been here elsewhere. Spurs 0, Nottingham Forest 2.
Oh.
Traore for West Ham, 1-0 they trail. Traore sends in the cross. It's a shot that comes in from Pablo. It came back to him really quickly, but could he have done a bit better?
It was a chance, and again Traore on this left hand side chops onto his favoured right foot, plays it into the box. Villa don't clear the lines, and from about 15 yards out on an angle, Pablo's got a clear sight of goal. He should hit the target, fires it wide. Still 1-0 Villa.
Will you please welcome number 31 Leon Bailey, 21 Douglas Luiz, and number 8 please.
So Sancho, Barkley and McGinn look like they're the players they're going to be withdrawn. Bailey, Luiz, the first of the players to come on.
As we said, real strength in depth, isn't there, on that Villa bench? Probably as a result of Thursday night's exertions against Lille here at Villa Park, which Villa won 2-0. Unai Emery rotating and chopping and changing and freshening up his side, but West Ham arguably have been the better side in this second half.
Tielemans gets the hero's reception on his return. He comes on, but I have to agree with that assessment. West Ham have been a better team since the restart. It should have been more than a goal down in the first half, but the changes have made an impact.
They have, and half chances, I'll say, not really clear-cut chances. They've had half chances, West Ham.
Bowen has the ball stolen off his toes by Onana. Villa have space. Morgan Rogers going through the gears, approaching the penalty area, takes a shot onside footed and it's parried. Watkins on the follow-up, and Villa double their lead, and it is a long way back now for West Ham. Hermansen couldn't get any distance on the parry, and there was Watkins on the follow-up to bury it right-footed. Aston Villa 2, West Ham 0.
Yeah, good striker's goal from Ollie Watkins, but Mads Hermansen will be really disappointed there. Shot comes in, Villa counter-attacking, cut through West Ham just after the substitutes have been made. And you're looking at it, and from West Ham attacking on the right-hand side, within a blink of an eye, it's Villa who are bursting forward, and Morgan Rogers chops onto his right foot, has a shot, and the West Ham keeper can only parry it, and Ollie Watkins is there to ram it into the back of the net. I think the keeper will be a little bit disappointed that he never hung on to that. It was low, it was hard to his left.
It's bad news. Aston Villa 2, West Ham 0. Ollie Watkins with a tap in at the far post. It was a shot from the edge of the penalty area from Morgan Rogers, and Hermansen, he didn't parry it particularly well, and Watkins was able to squeeze it in at that far post. Long way back now for the Irons. Aston Villa 2, West Ham 0.
You're correct, Ross, it is a long way back, and West Ham now are really under the pump. 2-0 down. We said at half time they were lucky and fortunate to get in at 1-0. They've been better in this second half. The changes that Nuno made at half time have made them more of an attacking threat, but they left themselves wide open there to the counter attack. And Morgan Rogers' shot, for me, I think the keeper's got to do a little bit better. He palms it out. He could argue his defenders weren't following in. Ended up a tap in for Ollie Watkins. 2-0 Aston Villa. A long way back for the Hammers now.
Ball forward towards Wilson. Tries to cushion it down. Can't hang on to possession. They need a response. 20 to play here on BBC Radio London Total Sport.
And again, Aston Villa freshened it up, minutes before the goal, the second goal from Ollie Watkins. Made 3 inspired substitutions. Unai Emery just freshening his team up, but with real quality coming off the bench as well. The likes of Douglas Luiz and Leon Bailey, and in particular Tielemans.
Here come Villa. Leon Bailey, the Jamaican, combines with Rogers, and there's a save at the near post by Hermansen. He just about got his body in the way.
Rogers again. Rogers a real threat, isn't he? A real threat, whether he's on the left side, whether he's on the right, whether he's playing through the middle. A real quality operator. Good save there from Hermansen, the West Ham keeper.
Are they more likely to take some risks now? Do they have to take some risks?
I don't think West Ham have got anything to lose other than the obvious of losing the game, and now they're 2-0 down. For me, I thought Nuno was brave by flipping the system to 4-4-2 and having 2 designated centre forwards on the pitch at the top end and 2 wide players in Bowen and Adama Traore. Leaves them wide open in midfield, of course it does, but it's risk and reward. And I think at the moment Aston Villa will be really pleased that they've got that second goal, because West Ham were pushing for an equaliser. I think at 2-0, if I'm totally honest, it's game over for me.
Can they give themselves a glimmer of hope, a route back into this game?
I hope so, because it would make a really good spectacle as we go into the last 20 minutes of it. And they've certainly got the firepower on the pitch. All I would say, I think West Ham have only scored 36 league goals this season, so they're not prolific, are they?
Villa keeping possession on the far side. Here is Luiz, the Brazilian.
Yeah, this is the frustrating bit as a player, because Villa are 2-0 up, and probably the message from Nuno is not to press them too high, because they can cut you apart. But Villa now almost playing at walking pace and keeping the ball, and they'll string together 20 or 30 passes in any passage of play without West Ham laying a glove on them. So easy now for Aston Villa to move the ball from left to right without really without really trying to open up West Ham. They're 2 goals up, Villa, and you can see just in the body language that West Ham are struggling a little bit now.
Yeah, you can just see the belief has just been drained from them a bit now. Need to keep their chins up. 18 to play. 2-0 they trail. Villa send it forward with Rodgers looking for Bailey. Traore picks it up just shy of halfway. Fernandez combines with Souček in midfield. Traore lays it square for Fernandez. Now Diouf back towards Souček again. You always know what you're going to get from Thomas Souček. He's been such a reliable campaigner.
Excellent player, yeah, really good, isn't he, at the heart of West Ham's midfield. Big, strong, tall lad, good ability as well, gets about the pitch. But at the moment, Villa are comfortable in this game, Ross.
Diouf looking to get one back for West Ham. Traore's made a run towards the byline, tries to keep it in play, and he's got the cross in, but straight at the goalkeeper near post.
Well, he's certainly quick, isn't he, Traore? We know that, and it looked as though he was going to be second best there. Managed to sprint away from the Aston Villa defensive unit and get a cross in, but comfortable for Martinez.
Bowen down the right side up against 2. Maybe needs some support. Plays it against the backside of Ollie Watkins, and it breaks for Luis.
Yeah, just not quite been Jared's day, hasn't it? Worked hard, he always works hard, always puts his shift in, always has a sweaty shirt, runs around and competes, but yeah, just lacking that little bit of quality in the final third, West Ham today.
Konsa lost one down the near touchline. Wilson goes down inside the penalty area, wants a penalty again. Referee not interested.
No, he's not getting that one, isn't he? It was just Konsa applying a little bit of pressure there to Callum Wilson as he took an up and under there, I think, from Diouf, and yeah, he was not getting a penalty kick for that one. Elsewhere,
Spurs still 2-0 down at the home to Forest.
42,130.
I expect the phone-in programmes and TV programmes are going to be fairly lively in the next couple of days if the results stay as they are.
Well, absolutely. You know, we're looking now at West Ham and Tottenham, real relegation contenders, aren't they? You know, and when you get down to the last 10 games, then it becomes 8 and then 6. Everyone gets a little bit nervous, but certainly both teams, Tottenham and West Ham, need to try and get a win and hopefully back-to-back wins and get themselves out of danger. But you know, that point that Leeds gained last night at home to Brentford all of a sudden looks a very good point.
Next game for West Ham is in the FA Cup against Leeds in the quarter-finals.
Yeah, it is, and then they've got Wolves coming up, haven't they? And again, a little bit of a revival. Rob Edwards going in at Wolves, and they've turned a little bit of a corner, even though it looks as though Wolves and Burnley will get relegated. Yeah, there's 4 teams there just above them that are right in the mix.
Disasi for West Ham back towards Mavropanos, who does not deserve to be on the losing side today for his performance.
Been excellent, yeah. Both centre-halves have been really good, particularly in this, you know, this atmosphere and the pressure that they're playing under against a very good side. They have defended well.
Fernandez out towards Traore, tries to skip away from Cash. Actually concedes the throw, it came back off him.
Yeah, another change for Villa.
Buendia, the Argentine.
Yeah, some player as well, isn't he? You know, again, real quality coming off the bench. Buendia, fabulous player. Be interesting to see who comes off. I think it's going to be Rodgers.
It shows the strength and depth that Villa have got. I know they maybe compare themselves to some of the teams in the bigger spending bracket, but when you can bring off Morgan Rodgers and potentially England's number 10 for the World Cup and bring on a player like Buendia, it's not exactly weakening the team.
They're a top team, Aston Villa. You know, the team is filled with quality international players, and Morgan Rodgers being one of them. Outstanding performance today again from Rodgers. Real pace and power, but again, quality, ability. Excellent player.
Long throw for Villa. Disasi brings it down. Diouf tidies up and goes back towards his goalkeeper. Played out short towards Mavropanos.
Yeah, 15 minutes to go. Got to kind of throw the kitchen sink at it a little bit more, West Ham, although Villa have, since the second goal, dominated possession. West Ham have just kind of gone under a little bit in terms of the performance levels, because the first 15 minutes of the second half, they were very good. The change of shape helped, the personnel that came on helped, but Aston Villa now comfortable in the game at 2-0 up.
Yeah, their form hasn't been great. Emery's side winless in 4. There's 1 win in the last 7. They're on course for the points here. They're pressing forward Villa. Cash to Bailey inside the penalty area towards the near post, and Disasi had to smuggle it behind, or may well be out for a throw or a call. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, again, Matty Cash on this right hand side. I think it's gone out for a throw in, but yeah, excellent play from Cash, linking up there with Bailey. And again, I would imagine this will be a long throw into the box from Matty Cash.
Cash has the short option there of Onana. A little bit static Villa. Eventually Bailey shows for it. It's actually back at the club after being sent out on loan abroad. See some of the West Ham subs starting to warm up. Magassa, Kante.
Yeah,
but the game-changing subs that they've already got on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, they've played the hand, haven't they? They've played the hand, West Ham, and Nuno now will be looking at his bench and thinking, what can I do? Can I change the formation? Can I pep it up with more legs on the pitch? But ultimately, yeah, he played his cards at half-time by putting Wilson on and Adama Traore.
Mavropanos heads out to the penalty area, only as far as Douglas Luiz. 78 played. Aston Villa 2, West Ham 0. Here on BBC Radio London Total Sport.
Yeah, and I think if they're going to take anything from this game, Ross, it's got to happen quick. It's got to happen quick. And West Ham really haven't threatened in the last 15 minutes since Villa went 2-0 up.
Pablo on this near side. That was good hold-up play from Callum Wilson. Now Fernandez. One of the bright lights for West Ham in the last couple of months. Mavropanos goes square. Slightly subdued atmosphere now inside Villa Park.
Yeah, it's really flat, isn't it? Even the Aston Villa fans, I mean, quite clearly the West Ham travelling faithful are disappointed with their team and the majority of the performance today. But yeah, I think the Villa fans are probably sitting here and just seeing out time as the players on the pitch are and thinking, well, we're going to take the 3 points in 4th in the table, in a promising position with potentially a big game in Europe coming up as well. Yeah, all very comfortable for Aston Villa.
10 minutes to go. Digne for Villa sweeps it forward, looking for the run of Watkins. His goal has put a bit of daylight between Villa and West Ham.
Yeah, and Villa will just slow the game down now. Every throw-in, every goal kick, free kick, they'll slow the game down, take the sting out of it. They're 2-0 up. They've got players on the pitch that can keep the ball and manipulate the ball across the park. Yeah, they really are comfortable, Villa.
Luiz in field for Buendia. Now Cash. Back towards halfway in concert. Villa happy just to monopolise possession. Keeping the ball, not really going anywhere with it, but keeping West Ham at arm's length. Eventually they fizz it into the feet of Watkins, and that's where it breaks down. West Ham get it back towards Hermanson, the goalkeeper, who clears up towards halfway. Traore juggles the ball away from Torres. And Catalan works it out wide for Diouf. Just for West Ham. Pablo's in there with a header, and we look at the referee. Corner is the outcome.
Yeah, corner kick. Good work again from Diouf. It was Traore that was breaking the lines, using his pace, feeds the ball out on the left hand side to Diouf, whips one in. Pablo, good centre forward player, gets across his marker, tempted header on target, flicks off the Villa defender. Corner kick West Ham. A lot better from West Ham.
Fernandez has spotted the ball down near side. Got just over 8 minutes to play. West Ham 2-0 down. Hammers with a corner near side. Fernandez whips in with pace. Mavropanos the target, comes back out towards Traore. Good job trying to muscle him off the ball from Leon Bailey.
Yeah, there was talk about the manager not being too happy that he was in the gym lifting weights, Traore, wasn't it? He's some physical specimen, isn't he? West Ham making a couple more changes, Ross.
Magassa and Kante are the two that are going to be introduced. So we'll see how they slot up, but both of them predominantly midfield players. Souček and Wan-Bissaka are the players who are coming off now.
Yeah, that would suggest to me that he's going to flip to a back three, keep the two at the top end of the pitch, and just put an extra midfield player in there, making the shape potentially a 3-5-2. But we'll see. The instructions just going on now, and it looks as though they're going to go to a back three, West Ham.
So fresh blood. Can they give themselves just a little bit of encouragement? A goal back now would set up a grandstand finish. Even a point now would be a significant achievement. Spurs currently dropping points, losing 2-0 at home to Forest. Bowen on the far side for West Ham goes back infield towards Disasi. Now Diouf. Kante closed down those telescopic legs of Onana. Traore up against Cash. A couple of players crowd him out. Kante tries to win the ball back, and Villa throws the outcome.
Yeah, very similar in size and appearance, aren't they? Kante and Onana there. A pair of them in midfield, both 6'3", 6'4". Big rangy footballers, but unquestionable ability as well to play at this level, which you have to have. Just not really clicked, West Ham, have they? Apart from that 15-minute spell at the opening of the second half, it's just not been West Ham's day today. And they've come up against a good Villa side. Let's give Villa credit where credit's due.
Villa on course to close the gap to 1 point behind Manchester United. Here come Villa again. Edge of the penalty area, Ben Buendia. Back heel finds Leon Bailey. Villa cross to Luis just inside the penalty area. He's juggling the ball, but the Brazilian works out wide for Digne. Mavropanos comes across diligently defending.
Yeah, as pointed out, he's probably been West Ham's star performer today, particularly in the first half. Some amazing blocks, tackles, challenges, great commitment to the cause, but I think unfortunately he's probably going to be on the end of a defeat today.
I thought West Ham had won the ball back, but it's a free kick in the end. Diouf protests, Paul Deeney not interested.
Yeah, there'll be no rush from the Aston Villa player to get back on his feet either, as we tick away with 5 minutes of normal time, and no doubt a fairly substantial element of added time to play in this game. And Villa have got West Ham where they want them, really, haven't they? 2 goals down, multiple changes from West Ham, multiple changes in their formation as well against Aston Villa, and Villa have got a free kick 30 yards out.
It's right of centre. There's a trio of players showing an interest. Digne potentially with that left foot might favour him. Cash is there. Luis is also just behind Cash. See the set piece coach.
Yeah, Austin McPhee. Yeah, Austin McPhee there, member of the Scottish national team coaching squad as well. He's directing traffic. He'd be really pleased because the first free kick was a wonderful one, wasn't it? Great free kick, great set piece.
Villa free kick. Digne floats it to the corner of the penalty area. It goes all the way through.
Sack him. Get rid of that set piece coach. That was rubbish.
I mean, he looks like a heavy metal roadie rather than a football set piece coach, to be fair.
He does. And listen, it's another member of the coaching staff that's been integrated into the system over the last few years, set piece coaches, and clearly it's got its worth.
Ollie Watkins is going to be replaced by former Chelsea man Tammy Abraham.
Been brilliant, Anthony Ollie Watkins. Just that honesty, just running power and the willingness to work hard, get you a long way in the game. I mean, I remember Ollie Watkins when he was at Exeter, and he's come up through the leagues, and to play for a club like Aston Villa and be an England international is fairy tale stuff, but he's earned the right, worked hard, and on comes again another superstar footballer, Tammy Abraham.
As the man from Devon comes off, had a loan at Western-super-Mare.
Incredible, isn't it? Incredible.
Pretty good academy down at Exeter. They have to make their own players down there. A fan-owned club.
Yeah, they produce, don't they? They do produce down at Exeter, and yeah, well, he's not had a Western Supermare today, has he? He's been brilliant, Ollie Watkins. He's been fantastic, but another one that's not forgot his roots and worked hard to get to this level. Top player.
West Ham 2-0 down, 3 to play. Magassa's cross is easily dealt with by Luis, who didn't need to jump to head it clear. Diouf picks it up. You can almost hear Unai Emery barking instructions. The atmosphere is so flat now.
And again, any win in the Premier League is hard earned, isn't it? But Villa have been immeasurably better than West Ham today. They've been really good, Villa.
Traore down the left, up against Cash. Awful cross. Did the first part brilliantly well. Cash was sticking to him like glue, but he was off balance when he got the cross in.
Frustrating again. Traore going onto his left-hand side, tries to go outside Matty Cash, and for want of a better word, shanks it out of play. Not great at all there from Adama Traore.
One or two of the West Ham supporters are heading for the exits now. Some of them feel it is done.
I would suggest 100 or 200, looking at the gaps in the West Ham faithful over there. Yeah, trying to get an early train back to London, no doubt. They've seen the side go out with a little bit of a whimper today at Villa Park. Not been great from the Hammers.
Long ball forward, launched upfield by Martinez. Cash up against Traore. It's a really good contest between those two, and Cash hasn't backed down at all.
No, and again, Matty Cash is now an experienced pro, isn't he? He's a Polish international. That comes from his wife's side of the family, and a mainstay in this Aston Villa team now for a number of years. Good player, really good player, and whoever's up against him know they're in for a real battle against Matty Cash.
Fernandes for West Ham on halfway.
I'm not his agent, by the way. I just know his dad. Yeah, another change I think incoming, or is it I think it might be the fourth official showing us how much added time there's going to be, Ross.
Healthy amount you would expect.
6 or 7 I'll go for. Yeah, 6 or 7 minutes.
Bailey for Villa gives it straight towards Fernandes. Chops back and lays it out towards Kante. French youngster in turn gives it to Diouf. Now Mavropanos in the right back position, bit of space for him, but time is ebbing away. His ball forward is blocked.
Well, to be fair to Mavropanos, that's probably his first mistake in near on 90 minutes. Apart from that, he's been really good today, but he can be proud of his performance.
Pablo, awful ball. Only 4 minutes have been added. Slightly surprising. Pablo lays off towards Fernandes. Now Magassa. West Ham just about keeping possession. Kante's made a run. Here come West Ham in stoppage time. Kante's shot. That's going to be a goal kick long way wide.
Kind of sums up West Ham's day, that, doesn't it? A good run from Kante, don't get me wrong, and he's come on the pitch and he showed a willingness to work hard in and out of possession. Gets the ball there, makes a run from an advanced number 8 position and slashes the ball wide with his left foot. But chances have been few and far between for the Hammers today, and Aston Villa thoroughly deserve this victory. And to be honest, West Ham have gone out with a little bit of a whimper today.
There has been another goal in North London. Spurs 0, Nottingham Forest 3.
Wow. There'll be certainly more than 1 or 2 leaving the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium right now, won't there?
Yeah,
although they could stay behind and vent the fury, I suppose, which is worse sometimes, isn't it? But that's a crushing blow, that, isn't it?
I'm not sure what the odds on a 3-0 victory for the away team would have been ahead of kick-off. Pretty long, you'd think.
Yeah, pretty long odds, but the way Tottenham are at the moment, albeit they got a wonderful result in midweek against Atletico, and they got a result against Liverpool, and you're kind of thinking they might have turned the corner, but then the manager's going to be under immense pressure this evening, and that's football for you.
Played just under 2 minutes of the 4 that have been added. This game is done pretty much for West Ham, but they've still got to play out the remaining stoppage time.
It's almost been done from the Villa second goal, hasn't it, Ross, if we're being truthful? Not really laid a glove on the opposition, West Ham. A couple of opportunities that not really worked. Martinez, the keeper, all too easy for Villa to do, all too easy.
The ball's gone all the way back towards their Argentine keeper. Just the Elvis snake hips again. Be fantastic at a wedding, you'd think.
Oh, absolutely. Get him on the karaoke. Yeah, brilliant. But he's been relatively untroubled, hasn't he, the Argentinian goalkeeper? As Villa have. Been a comfortable performance. Not suggesting they could have played in the slippers, but it's been pretty comfortable for Aston Villa, and an easy 3 points for them today against a pretty disappointing West Ham.
Tielemans. Now Torres with Olays as the home team play the ball around, keeping possession. Digne for Luis, and there's a ball forward for Tammy Abraham. Juff under pressure, heads it back towards the goalkeeper. What they don't want to do is have salt in the wounds.
No, good covering there from Juff as well. Realised the danger. Tammy Abraham gambling on a bouncing ball over the top from McGinn, and yeah, good work from Juff. Juff's done okay. Juff's done okay. There's been a few performances that have been less than okay, but there's been a couple of performances, including Mavropanos, who's probably the West Ham man of the match, and Juff and Desai, that have been okay.
Wilson edge of the penalty area, stabs it out towards Jared Bowen. Spent much of the first half playing temporarily as right back, Tucky in defending.
And again, you know, Jared always gives you a shift, doesn't he? He always puts a shift in, but as an attacking force, West Ham.
A long range effort there from Tammy Abraham.
That would have rubbed the salt into the wounds, wouldn't it? Tammy Abraham trying to score one there from 40 yards. Sent it wide, that's it.
West Ham's fight against relegation will go on, but they leave the West Midlands with nothing here. It's finished here. Aston Villa 2, West Ham 0. Lee Turnbull, how big a setback is this?
It's a setback. It's not the end of the world. It was obviously going to be a really difficult game here at Aston Villa, as it always is. I thought West Ham had a real chance before the game, just on the back of Villa playing on Thursday night, and Aston Villa coming into the game on the back of 3 Premier League losses. But it wasn't to be, and I think from the first goal that John McGinn, a wonderfully worked free kick, gets Villa 1-0 up, and they haven't really laid a glove on Aston Villa, West Ham, if I'm honest, Ross. 1 or 2 slashed attempts, some corner kicks that they got the first contact on and never really worked the keeper enough. Can't really remember Martinez making 2 or 3 outstanding saves in the game. And Villa were comfortable. They got the second goal and it was game over. You could see the energy draining out the West Ham players. Nuno tried to change it around with a few substitutions to give them a bit more energy on the pitch. But Aston Villa were miles ahead of West Ham today. Deserved winners, could have won the game by more. Yeah, they've got to lick the wounds, West Ham, and go again, because that's what football's about. And when you're in a dogfight, you need to roll your sleeves up, show some grit and determination to make sure that you right the wrongs. And the next game, particularly the next league game, will be also important against Wolverhampton Wanderers.
So it's finished here. Aston Villa 2, West Ham 0. Let's head over to the concluding stages of the game between Tottenham and Nottingham Forest with Andy Rowley. No probs. 5 minutes in, I thought there was absolutely no way we'd get to 90 at all.
You've done brilliant, mate. You've done. I must say, I've never talked so much in all my life. No, you did brilliant there, mate. It's yeah. And it's certainly tight.
Yes, Aston Villa 2, West Ham 0, and the Irons' relegation woes grow after defeat here in the West Midlands. It was deserved as well. John McGinn gave the Midlanders an early lead. A cute free kick from Cash eventually came for the Scot on the edge of the D, and he curled it left-footed past the sprawling Hermansen. Villa were awarded a penalty after a challenge from Mavropanos on Watkins, but that was rightly overruled on VAR review, with the Greek defender taking it cleanly. Mavropanos also pulled off a superb goal line clearance from a point-blank effort from Rodgers as well. But after the break, the decisive moment, Villa got their second. Watkins with a far post tap in, Rodgers with the effort. Hermansen parried but not quite far enough, and Watkins gobbled up the rebound. It finished here, Aston Villa 2, West Ham 0.
Yeah, I mean, West Ham would have come here full of hope. You know, Villa played in Europe on Thursday night, and sometimes that affects you. But wow, they were second best by a country mile today, Phil. Never really laid a glove on Villa. John McGinn's excellent early goal really set the tone. Villa dominated. West Ham made changes at half-time, which give them a little bit of a lift for 15 minutes. And apart from that, you know, nothing really from the Hammers. You know, Callum Wilson went 4-4-2 second half. They had a little bit of a go for 15 minutes. Ollie Watkins gets the second goal, and then honestly, Villa had the slippers on. It was comfortable. No, it's not defining for West Ham. There's a lot of football to be played, without a doubt. I would imagine Tottenham are hurting a lot more than West Ham at the moment, given that Forest are down there as well with them. But Forest, West Ham, Leeds, Tottenham, yeah, take your pick. Take your pick. I think that point that Leeds got against Brentford last night looks to be a great one now. Fantastic point. It'll go right to the wire, won't it? And more twists and turns for sure, but West Ham weren't great today, Phil.
Well, what he, I mean, he is.
Yeah, on this performance, West Ham are banging trouble. They're banging trouble, and I wouldn't bet against Wolverhampton Wanderers turning up because Rob Edwards has got a tune out of them. You're right, they've got to go to Palace, they've got Everton at home, they've got to go to Brentford, they've got Arsenal, Newcastle, and finish with Leeds at home. That's not easy. And when you're not in form, Phil, all of a sudden, that lack of confidence, that lack of quality, there was a distinct lack of quality in the first half from West Ham, just in terms of passing the ball. And you can see after the second goal, not gone under, but lost belief in themselves and their teammates, and that is a worrying sign, a really worrying sign. I would caveat the Tottenham situation by saying we know that they can pull a result out, as they did midweek and went to Anfield obviously last weekend and got a point up at Liverpool. But from what I've seen with my eyes today, this West Ham side are banging trouble. They're banging trouble.
Yeah, here. And I tell you, I bet if you asked a lot of managers around the Premier League, would you want John McGinn in your squad? I bet they would. I bet every single one would. Thank you, Paul. Great to hear from you. Let's hear from Kevin now. I think you've been to the game, have you, Kevin? Go on. All right. No, Kev. No, noted. I beg your pardon. Right. Tell us what you made of it today. Oh, we've lost. Can we get Kev back? Hang on. Are you, Kev? Are you? Well, I think I can hear you again, Kev. Have another go. Yeah. Well, I mean, we were talking about that during the game, and I think, Gary, we would expect now to see Barkley, especially as he can't play in the European games. I think we'd expect to see him feature very strongly in the Premier League.
I think he's to say you're right about Ross Barkley. He's coming to the team and he looks forward. He carries the ball forward as well. And you know what I called it the other night? I said it's the most boring first half I've ever seen. And most people agree with that. Yeah. And you were spot on as well. Yeah. You were spot on as well. Yeah. No problem.
He still is. Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, there's so much to gain now, Kev. In the next, I mean, there's how long is it now? The next game is Bologna away. That's April the 9th. So I know a lot of the players will be, playing internationals for various countries, and they won't necessarily get a break. But everybody gets to clear their head. Sometimes a change of scenery is as good as anything else. But when you look ahead now as a Villa fan, there is potentially 12 games left this season if you stay in Europe. There's an enormous amount to gain that would really take the club forward if you can win something and get back in the Champions League. It could be one of the most successful seasons in the club's modern history, Kev. Good stuff. Thank you, Kev.
Nice one, Kev.
Good to hear from you. That's Kev, who's been to the game. If you'd like to, we can squeeze one or two more possibly in before 4:30. I mean, whatever the route that Villa have taken to get here, 54 points from 31 games, having given everybody else a month's head start at the beginning, which is not forget. But now it suddenly feels as I'm so glad that they turned it around this week before the break, because everybody would have had an uncomfortable couple of weeks otherwise. The players would have gone overseas, they'd be stewing about what's happening. Now they can go away feeling a little bit more relaxed, aren't they?
Yeah, weight off their shoulders now. As I say, the narrative for the last 6 or 7 weeks has been Aston Villa seem to be one experience out. They've been Kingston against lost a few players. All the talk of Aston Villa were going to be the side that was going to knock even bigger in the Champions League spots. And Villa managed to keep themselves in. There was a bit of a buffer. We lost that buffer, as it were. But got the result today. And as you say, going into the next 2 weeks break, everyone can just relax a bit, take a breather, and just say, right, okay, the legs can regroup again, and ready to go again. Badly needed, because they needed a bit like anything that worked their way this weekend. That's really taken a nice lesson now. So the rest of it.
Well, this time last week the pressure was very much on Villa. Now the team that will be stewing, well, 2 of them for the next couple of weeks are going to be Liverpool and particularly Chelsea, who this week went out of the Champions League and are by no means guaranteed to get back into it. Now that Villa have won today, the remaining games Villa have got in the league: Forest away, Sunderland at home, Fulham away, and then Tottenham at home, Burnley away, Liverpool at home, Man City away. And obviously the last 2, although Liverpool, it's not quite the Liverpool side that it was, but nevertheless it's still Liverpool. But there's enough there in those 5 games. If Villa can win 5 of their last 7, then I think it's almost impossible for Chelsea to knock them out.
Yeah, I think you look at them games to play, and you're always thinking you want to get it finished and get it sorted before the last 2 games. But as you say, Liverpool are not the side they were last season, and all the talk is about maybe slots leaving as well. So maybe you're looking at that result, that game, and that might not be still be a difficult game, but it might not be as daunting as it was a few weeks ago.
All right, let's get a quick burst from Chris in Yardley, who he will be on the ceiling. Chris, aren't you? I had a feeling he would be, didn't you? Chris, how good was that, Chris?
How you doing? You right? Hello.
What was the difference? Yeah. That's the only song today. Yeah. Well, look, there's a lot to say about John McGinn, and he's happy to let other people say it for him. Again, he's taken his 2 goals, 2 different goals this week, but we've seen the best sides of John McGinn today, how hard he works, and then the quality he's got.
So the quality he's got, the goal the other night, he's covered about 70, 80 yards, read the way the game was building up, got himself a simple tackle, but he actually did the work to get himself there. And today, all he's got to do is keep his